Hey everyone, and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm going to take you through the main equipment that I use day to day to create designs. I'm not going to be like other designers you may see on YouTube flexing all their expensive Apple gear. Nothing against Apple and nothing against having good equipment to do your work, but that should not be the be-all and end-all. Unless your hardware is really limiting you, like if you're a video producer and you're working with very big video files day to day and your editing and your rendering times are very, very slow and sluggish, you probably need to upgrade. But if your work is absolutely fine and you have a decent laptop or PC, you're getting out what you need to get done, then don't feel the pressure to upgrade, especially if you can't afford it. You can still get great results with cheaper hardware. Okay, so let's break this down. So I'm going to overlay a clip right here to show you the PC that I built back in 2014. And that PC is the one I'm still using right now. It's got an i5 processor, which at the time was all I could afford. The i7, I think, had been out for a bit, but it was out of my budget at the time. So I thought, let me get an i5 for now, and maybe a year down the line, if I start feeling it's too sluggish for me, I'll upgrade. Do you know what? It's 6 years later, and I still haven't had any reason to upgrade. It's working absolutely fine. The only upgrades I've done to this PC since I've got it is I've upgraded to an SSD and I put some extra RAM in. So I think I originally had 8 gigs of RAM and I've now got 16. I'll put all the other bits and pieces and the specs and all that good jazz on screen, so you can see that this is an old PC and it's still doing what it needs to do. I've often got multiple windows open on Chrome, at least 10 at any one time. I hate closing a window if I might need it. Often I'll have Illustrator and at least one other Adobe software open, whether that's Audition, Premiere, After Effects, whatever I happen to be doing that day. And on my second monitor, which is my older monitor, I just have YouTube, Netflix, something streaming as I'm working. And it's obviously got 2 monitors hooked up. So for all those processes that are quite CPU heavy, I'm having no problem at all. The only time I'm really feeling the limitations of my hardware is rendering videos for YouTube like this. So I'm working around that for now. It might be the case in the next year or so I need to do some upgrades, but know that if you've got an older PC, as long as it hits the minimum specs for Adobe software, you should be absolutely fine. And see how it runs. If you're finding it's affecting your work and you need to upgrade, then do it. I'm not saying don't let hardware affect your productivity. If you're really feeling the strain, your best investment is in your business and in your hardware, so do it. But don't feel pressured to, get an iMac or even a MacBook Pro or an iPad Pro if you don't need it. It's not going to give you value that you can't get with what you've got right now. I know it's nice to get nice, funky, top of the range gear, but it's expensive, and think about where your priorities lie in your business. Secondly, let's talk about my monitors. So the monitor right at the back is the first monitor I got when I built this PC. So 6 years old now. And I was really feeling that monitor. It's noisy as hell. Check this out. I could kind of live with that, but I was finding, especially when I got my laptop and I was looking at the designs, the same designs I'd been working on my screen, when I looked on my laptop, the colors were like completely different to what I was working with on that machine. I was like, this is not good for me. I need to know that the color I'm working with is what's going to be in my end result. Especially when I was uploading stuff to Instagram. I think my color scheme was okay on that monitor. As soon as I uploaded, it's like, whoa, that ain't good. That's not what I intended. So for me, a new monitor was the most important thing that I needed last year. So I invested in a BenQ, I think it's a P series. I'll put the details up here. It's not actually even the branded for designers BenQ model. It's the one below that, but it's still got the full sRGB spectrum, and that's exactly what I need. It's a beautiful monitor compared to that one. And it works for me. I can do my work on my main monitor. I can watch YouTube on my secondary monitor. I would highly recommend a BenQ monitor if you're looking to upgrade. The colors are beautifully crisp, nice 4K display. So if you're working with graphics, a good monitor is a must. But you can overpay, so do your research on your monitors. As I said, I'll put the details of that BenQ here so you can have a look. Next are my peripherals. I've got a Razer keyboard, not the full mechanical expensive one. I didn't see any reason to get that. I'm not a gamer, well, not on PC anyway. And a Logitech, it's actually a gaming mouse, but it's nice and small for my hand. And they had lights. I like the lights. But really, you don't need anything special when it comes to keyboard and mouse at all. As long as it's nice and comfortable, you're not going to strain yourself while you're using them. Get something simple that's actually functional. And when you're rolling in a bit more money, upgrade. But it's certainly not the be-all and end-all of your work. My Logitech speakers, they're a bit big, especially when I put the second monitor, they're a bit big. I used to always, have earphones in while I worked, but I find it too closed in. I know some people like to, get into the zone when they're working, but I like sort of more ambient noise around me while I'm working. So I thought I need some more speakers. They're perfect for what I need. I don't need these big, expensive, bassy speakers for just, YouTube while I'm working. So they're great. So I'm going to take you with me right now. We're going to go to the desk and I'll show you a few more bits and pieces in a bit more detail. Maybe I'll even show you a little bit of what else is happening in my office. It's not very exciting, I promise you that, but whatever. Okay, so there's my PC. I always wanted to get better lights in there, but just never got around to it. Over here, we've just got some CDs and DVDs that I never ever touch, as well as a succulent. When you've got cats, can't really have too many plants, so it stays up there so they don't chew on the leaves. Speaking of kitty cats, hey monster, hey sweet boy. So back here, I know it's a bit of a state. I bought this shelving. It's like grid shelves. You can put them in different configurations, and it's just stuff that I need to hand. I do a lot of crafting and weird and wonderful things, so I've got like craft papers and sketchbooks and paints and just general storage. And then my desk, I love this desk. It's from IKEA. I can't remember the model name, but it's bigger than your average desk, but I find the only downside to this desk are the positioning. Oh gosh, you can't see anything. You can see these two drawers here. I kind of always bash my knee into them, which is a bit annoying. But it's because I sit weirdly on my chair. So this is my keyboard. I just like pretty lights. I like the fact that you can program them to have different colors. And my mouse. We got a Hancock back there just chilling. And one thing I would recommend, if you do a lot of sketching and a lot of drawing, which I do, you might not, besides your normal pen and paper, I've got these Micron pens. They came in a pack of probably about 8 in different sizes, and they just marker pens really, but they can give you really super fine lines. And when I was getting more into sort of hand lettering kind of stuff, they were great. So I love good pens, to be fair. So we've got those to hand. Always have post-its. talking about writing things down, I have loads of notebooks. I normally have a plan for each one. I'll be like, okay, this is my master plans book, but it ends up being my everyday, day-to-day kind of workbook. And then I have a bigger one here that, you know, whatever's closest I end up writing in. And then at the bottom is sketchbook. So if I have any concepts or designs I just want to get out on paper, it's non-lined, so it's nice and easy to scan. And then back here, I just have pots with pens and random bits and pieces in. I've got my directional mic and my little tiny mixing desk here, and that's when I record tutorials. In my old job I used to do a lot of voiceovers, so that was perfect for that as well. So that just stays back there for easy access. I also have the black Yeti. I don't seem to use it as much as that mic. And what I would recommend, when you've got your hardware in place and you've got everything you need to do your day-to-day design work, is do invest in a decent DSLR camera. Now the one I'm currently shooting with is the EOS 200D. I think these models are called something different in the US. I think they're the Rebel series. And this is the older 700D. So this camera I'm shooting with has slightly better autofocus for moving shots, hence why I chose to use it in this video. But what you need to remember about being a designer, it's a lot about marketing as well. And if you want to get some really cool photos of your work, post them on social media and take things seriously, it's a really, really good tool to have. Not saying your phone couldn't do as good a job, but it gives you so much higher control. And getting to grips with photography is such a good crossover skill for designers, because you learn more about composition, about lighting, all that good stuff that you can translate into your design work day to day. So I would recommend investing in a camera. I think this one cost me probably about £300, and then obviously your lenses are a bit more expensive. I think this one is just the stock lens. I bought a couple of other lenses since then, but it's a really good investment, and these bodies, if you look after them, will last you a long time. I think that's pretty much everything I use day to day, besides silly little things like I've got a little tin full of my SD cards. Got my SD card reader for my PC, which is not focusing. Just a little Anchor card reader. And that's it. I'm going to put you back on your stand, guys. Bear with me. So final bit of gear that I have is this Huon tablet, drawing tablet. And the only reason I upgraded, I was still rocking a Wacom Bamboo that I had since I was at uni, so over 10 years ago. And I think they stopped me. It just wasn't working at all anymore. And it was very, very small. So I thought, do you know what? There's times where the pen tool is just not enough. I want to be able to draw really organically on a pad. So I invested in this one. It surprised me the price that they were. So I was trying to find a smaller brand that did similar quality for cheaper. And I've actually had absolutely no problems with this. I'll put the details here for you. Really good little pad. The only downside is it's very smooth. The pen nib, in addition to the surface, means there's no traction. There's no natural feel of, you know, that little bit of pulling that you get from pen and paper or pencil and paper. So sometimes when I'm just meaning to do an arc, I end up doing an arc and it carries on a little bit. So, but there's ways around that. There's films that you can put on the top of this that'll give it a little bit of texture, so it sticks to the pen a little bit better. Obviously the only downside to that is it'll wear out your nibs a little bit quicker, but worth it, I think. But for the amount that I use it, it's okay. So again, do your research. There's so many brands out there who do really, really good products, and because they may be little known, they can afford to be cheaper. and sometimes they match the market leaders with their technology. So it's always worth a research. Read reviews, watch reviews, see what works for you, but always shop around. Okay, that's truly all I have time for, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it's been informative for you. I'm currently in the works. I'm truly thankful for all the support I've been getting on this channel. It's been great to see. And I thank you for all the comments, all my new subscribers. I hope I continue to make content that you guys want to see. And I just thought I'd put something together to say thank you. So probably in about a week's time, I'll drop another video and I'll send you all the details about that. But I'm going ahead of myself. Thank you so much for all the support, guys. You guys take care, and I will see you very soon.